What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host. That's pretty sad because I just noticed that freaking Troy Baker left Retro Replay. Sad day. Really sad day. Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromRetail. This story's called Crazy Guy and a Nintendo Switch. I worked in retail for about 1 year or so. I was usually the closing department employee, so my hours were from midday to closing. When the Nintendo Switch first came out, we had a decent amount in stock, but they sold out quickly. So this one particular customer, we will dub the Lee, would buy up most, if not all, the Nintendo Switches. Lee would know when and what time we would get them, I think he uses some sort of website, before the backroom people knew it was in the truck. So because of this, customers complained that why we were selling all our Nintendo Switches to one person, or how come the store website would claim we have some in stock, but never actually do. So upper management decided on a one Switch per customer policy. Lee didn't know this at first, so when he came in asking for all of our Switches again one morning, the employee told him that it was only one per customer. He was a bit upset and asked to speak with the manager, and the manager repeated the policy again, one per customer. So Lee just ended up taking one. Then a few hours later, the midday employee sells Lee another one, and near closing time, buys one from me. He does this process for about 2 weeks, until our department manager comes and asks, why do we keep selling the Switches to the same customer? My coworkers and I look confused at each other, and our manager tells us that Lee comes in at least 3 times a day, and is slowly buying all our Nintendo Switches. So one day, my coworkers and I decided that if Lee comes in, we would text each other to make sure he doesn't buy up the remaining Switches. The morning employee comes, and right on schedule, Lee comes in and buys a Switch from her, but she forgot to text us. So when the midday employee comes in, he sells the Switch to Lee. But he texts me saying Lee already bought 2 Switches and that he wasn't allowed to get any more. So I come in. It was almost closing time, and Lee comes in and says he wants to buy a Switch. I ask him if he already purchased one, and of course, he lied and said no. I let him know that my coworkers informed me that they sold him 2 Switches already. He tries to pull the "that wasn't me" card, so I let him know that we have cameras and we can pull up a video of him being in the store today. His face was in shock and starts yelling at me. Lee has a thick accent, so it was a bit hard to make out everything he said. But from what I can recall, he stated that he can get me fired, that he will file a complaint, and I will sell him the Switch or else. I told him I would ask my manager. I went to the back office, explained to the assistant store manager the situation from the beginning of the day to now. And he said, if we already sold him 2, then no, don't sell him our last Switch. So I went back and told Lee that per the assistant store manager and policy, we could not sell him the Switch. Lee's face turns red. He started yelling at me, was super close to my face, and almost spitting at me. I'm a female and about 23 years old at the time. I freaked and called for security and/or a floor manager. After a full 10 minutes and paging security multiple times, no one came to help me. At this point, I was getting mad myself, and my coworker notices my face turning red. Every time I would take a step back, Lee would step forward even closer. I kept telling him to please keep his distance and that he was spitting on me, but he was not listening. My coworker was slowly pulling me behind the counter, hoping that would put some space between us, but that didn't help. I'm just about to explode until I run to the back office to the assistant store manager, shaking with anger and informing him how the situation escalated. He tells me to stay in the office. From what I heard and what the rest of my coworkers told me, Lee was yelling and tried to get close to the assistant manager's face, but because the assistant manager was taller, that didn't work. The assistant manager was very nice, but he did look a bit intimidating with the small scars on his face, tattoos all over his arms, and was a bit tall. So the assistant manager, in a loud voice, tells Lee he needs to calm down or he will escort him out of the store. Lee refused to calm down and claimed he will not leave the store without the Switch. Just then, 2 other managers came out of nowhere from the sides and have Lee surrounded. Lee noticed and quickly shuts up. The assistant store manager just stared him down, and Lee quickly leaves the store without his switch. The assistant store manager came back to check on me and ask if I was okay. After a few minutes, I calmed down and was fine. Never in my life have I felt such anger. The security guards got an earful from upper management the following day because they saw the whole thing unfold on the cameras. Security's reason for not coming was because Security 1 was walking around the store and Security 2 was by the door, and when they heard the call, they assumed the other person would see what was going on. A few weeks later, I found a better job and no longer work in retail. I still keep in contact with my ex-managers and coworkers, and from what they told me, Lee has not stepped foot in that store since. Sorry for the super long post. That ending was so dramatic. I love it. We have you surrounded, Lee. Step away from the switch and get out of the store. I love it. This story's called Threatened for a Customer's Mistake. This happened years ago when I was in college. I worked as a gas station attendant at a popular roadside convenience store. This particular location was located right up the street from a theme park. Because of its location near the theme park, it would get extremely busy, not just at the gas pumps, but also inside the store where you can order pretty decent food, sandwiches, and coffee. Where I am, it's all full-service gasoline. You can pump diesel yourself because it's not explosive. I know a lot of people in self-service places don't understand this law. Long story short, the gas company gets an insurance break because they have trained employees working the pumps. That being said, I don't enforce the pumping rule. I'm particular about my personal vehicles and hate it when the attendants just rip the nozzle out and drip gasoline on the car. So I don't hassle customers who want to do it themselves. On this particular day, it was super busy as the theme park was just opening. I'm literally running back and forth between the pumps. It's really hard to keep track of who got to what pump first. I used to just go up and down the islands helping the customers as I went. So a customer with out-of-state plates pulls up at the opposite end of where I was currently helping a customer. He shouts over to me, "Yo, you gonna pump my gas?" And I call back, "I'll be right there, sir. I'm just finishing off this customer, then I'll come right over." After I quickly finish the current customer, I go to the man who called out to me seconds earlier. I see he's already pumping his own gas. Fine, I understand it's busy. I ask him, "You got it?" And he says back, "Yeah, I'm just getting $20 cash." I tell him, "Sure thing," and head off to help another customer. When I see the guy finishing, I go over to collect his cash. I see he pumped $45 of gas into his car. He hands me a $20 bill and just stared at me. I told him, "That'll be $25 more, sir." He says back, "But I only wanted $20 worth." So I say back to him, "Yeah, but you pumped $45. And he again says, "Yeah, but I only wanted $20 worth." So I tell him, "Well, you pumped $45, so I need the whole $45. He gets very angry and says, "That's not my fault, I only have $20. I reply, "Sir, I didn't pump the gas. You did, and I can't pump the gas out of your tank, so I need $45. He flips out and starts cussing at me. I remain professional and tell him, "The manager can make arrangements for you to pay the difference if you don't have the difference on you," and I call the manager on my radio. I tell him what's happening, then tell the customer the manager will be right out to talk to him. At this point, it's not my problem anymore. I'm letting the manager handle it because I have other customers and I'm not gonna stand here fighting with some douchebag about his mistake. As I try to walk away, the guy jumps in front of me and shouts, "Hell no, you're not going anywhere! You're stealing from me now!" I look him in the face and can't help but crack a crooked smile and tell him, "Sir, I don't get paid enough for this. You can talk to the manager." I try to slip around his side and once again, he steps in front of me. I try to slip around his other side and he steps in front of me again and shouts, "You're trying to steal from me now. I work hard for my money. You're literally trying to take food out of my kids' mouths. You try and take food from my kids and I'll freaking kill you. I'll freaking murder you. I literally can't help but laugh and say, I don't get paid enough for this. Just as I'm saying that, the manager got there. The manager heard the guy threaten me. I just walked away to help the other customers. I see the guy and the manager talking, and I assume they made some sort of arrangement. Eventually, the guy pulls away and pulls into a parking spot in front of the store. The manager comes up to me and says, "We call the cops. Hopefully they get here soon." The town the store is in has no local police, so we have to wait for the state troopers to get there. Eventually, we see the guy leave and head up the street in the direction of the theme park. Shortly after, 2 or 3 cruisers arrive and ask where the guy is. The manager tells him he left up the street. One of the troopers jumps back in his cruiser and takes off up the road to pursue the guy. I get called away from the pumps to talk to the troopers still on the scene, and they have someone cover the pumps for me while I'm gone. The troopers ask me about what happened. I tell them the story, and they ask if I want to press charges. I just chuckle and say, nah, I'm just glad to have that guy out of my face. Then the manager chimes in. The store wants to press charges. We can't have people coming in threatening to murder our employees. So I leave to go back to working. About half an hour later, a trooper comes back and tells me, "We caught the guy up the street and arrested him." I laughed and thanked them. So that's my story of working a minimum wage job and getting threatened with murder for a customer making a mistake and attempting to steal gasoline. I swear to God, crazy people will make the freaking hugest leaps in judgment when it comes to trying to justify their unjustifiable rage towards an individual just doing their job. Wow. This story's called, I Want the Original Price Worth of Value. The other day, I had a couple of middle-aged women that came in for a return, claiming their phone screen protector was defective and that they'd purchased it earlier that day. They installed it themselves, but there's a strange adhesive that's dried and fixed the plastic. Definitely not their fault. It's a cheap protector marked down from $40 to $10 on clearance. Not a big deal, it's an easy replacement. Sure, I say, it's defective. We'll return or exchange it for you. Thank you, Woman A replies. Are we able to swap it for one of the $40 ones? We can get you one of those. So I select the appropriate glass protector and ring it at the till. $30 plus taxes is the difference. No, that's wrong, she decrees. That's not what I'm paying, is it? That's correct. $40 minus $10 equals $30. That's how much you owe. But the one I purchased is regularly priced at $40. You should give me that value for the protector back. Did you pay $40 for the screen protector? Well, no, but that one, she points to the defective plastic discarded on the side of the till, isn't any good, and I want the value of it back. You're getting the value of it back. We can swap it for the same one if you'd like, and we can verify that it's in working condition, hoping to provide a solution. But it's met with an indignant, "No, there's no way to check if the plastic is damaged before you unpeel it. Otherwise, I would have seen it beforehand." Let's check. And so I open the case and voila, the plastic is perfectly intact. Okay, so you're going to install it for me on my phone? Sure, it's a $15 charge for us to install it. We're happy to do it for you. But it's $0 for me because I'm such a great customer. She was, in fact, not a great customer. Nope, I can swap the protector or I can refund you the money. I want to speak to your manager. Sure, I'm the senior employee in our electronics department. What do you want to speak about? The management for this department won't be in until tomorrow. The management on duty are from different areas and they will tell you the same thing. I can offer you a refund for your screen case or exchange of the value you paid, but I'm not giving you $55 worth of product for free when you've only spent $10 here. Is there a store manager I can talk to? Let me call over Miss Manager. She's management. After a minute, Miss Manager comes over to speak with customer. Hi, you're the manager? This man has been presenting himself as management and he is refusing to help me. I want to exchange this phone screen and he's not giving me the value of it back. Well, he knows more about this than I do. What did you say? I repeat the same thing I've been saying for the last 5 minutes. We can refund you your money, or you can put the $10 towards a different screen protector.
That sounds reasonable to me. Which option would you like? This is unbelievable. Your other locations don't treat me this poorly. I want the value of my case. It's $40.
We're offering you the value back. You paid $10. You get $10. Just because it's on clearance doesn't mean you get the original price back.
Come on, let's just take our business to...
Redacted.
They at least know how customer service works.
Woman A agrees and the pair leave, without returning their screen protector they'd spent 20 minutes arguing about. Okay, have a nice day! Karens, man, you offer them the world and they want the damn galaxy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.